Hello, and welcome to the Kindergarten First 6 Weeks Preview. I'm Sonia Burrow, the writing specialist here in HEB, and I'm super excited to talk with you today and go through your writing curriculum for the first 6 weeks. So we're going to get started here in a minute, but if over the course of the school year you have questions or need any support, please feel free to contact me, Sonia Burrow at hebisd.edu. I will happily come and work with you or help you with any questions you have. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is your writing workshop block of time. So let's look at this really clearly so we understand that in round one, in part of your time, you have a 10 to 15 minute handwriting designated time. So it may only take you 10 minutes, it may take you the 15 minutes to practice your handwriting process. We use handwriting without tears for that, and we do have a scope and sequence for you to follow so that if students over the course of the year switch from school to school within the district, that they don't miss a letter, they're on track with what they need to cover. In round two, this is where you're going to be modeling in the workshop model your writing. So you're going to have 10 to 15 minutes to do a mini lesson. You're going to model some skill or strategy for writing. And then you'll have between 20 and 30 minutes for the students to do independent writing. That's also when you can pull a small group. You could do student conferences, those types of things. Now, at the beginning of the year, we know that kindergarten students are not going to be ready for you to be pulling a small group for instruction. You will be helping them sit in their chair, hold their pencil, interact appropriately with their neighbors at the tables, asking for something rather than taking it, those types of things. So, what I'm going to suggest in this first 6 weeks is really you taking the time that you need to be walking around and being mobile during independent writing time so that you can support students. Now, during this time, you may have a chance to assess where they're at, but I want you to be able to do what needs to be done. So if a student's falling out of their chair, you can help them kind of readjust, get themselves seated, how to hold a pencil again, how to talk with their neighbors, and what does writing really look like and feel like in the classroom. So we know those things are occurring, and we want to give you the time to do that. So please do not feel stressed that when you're starting this, that you're supposed to be conferencing with students immediately. A conference at the beginning of the year may just be you bending down and saying, so tell me about your drawing, and you writing a little note on a sticky note and sticking it to the back of their paper so you remember it for later. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is handwriting. So we do use handwriting without tears, and for teachers that are returning to kindergarten this year, you're going to see that we have front loaded more of the letters in the first 6 weeks. So we do have some getting ready, like how to sit in your chair, how to hold the pencil, help me write my name. We do the frog jump letters. We have multi-sensory activities built in, but then we have a lot of letters that we're going to be covering so that students know how to form them. So we did front load those for you in hopes that that will help you as you're teaching with the students in writing that they have covered it. I'm going to show you a little bit more about the app HIT, H-I-T-T, which is on your ClassLink page and how that works so that you can find the resources that you need. And if you're planning at home, you have access to that material as well as for any online resources that you need for students. So when you're on your ClassLink page, and everybody's is going to look different based on the apps that you have on there, things that you've saved, you will want to find this icon here, hit, and this is where you're going to go to access your online resources. So I've already opened it, so let's look at this really closely. So your screen will look like this. You have a dashboard with lots of different things on there. We have the student editions, you can look at that. We have the teacher's guide, which I'm going to look at real quick. And here you can see the layout of all of the material that you might need. Let's say we want to go to page 85. Don't know what's on it, but we'll look. Okay. And when we go to a page like this, you're going to see any of the pieces that you might use with it. So let's watch a video real quick so you can see how this works.
Hello, I'm Double Lines. Do you know that letters can be unruly, reckless creatures for new writers to control? Watch these guys battle over whose alpha letter, and you'll see how I help children keep them in order.
I'm the biggest, I'm the tallest, the best, numero uno.
You're not the tallest. I'm just as tall. Plus, I'm simple, classy, and elegant.
Yeah, right. You can't get down like me. None of you go below the line. Ha ha ha. Give me a break. I'm tall and I've got my hump. Hey!
Well, guess what? I'm cute and I'm awesome. I'm the only one here who gets to be small. I'm alpha.
Now imagine how confusing it is for new writers to fit letters together when they're given all sorts of lined paper at school. 1 line, 3 lines, too many lines, dotted lines, no lines. I can help you write your letters correctly. My rules are simple. This is my baseline. This is my midline. The baseline guides placement, and the midline controls the size of letters. This is my top space. This is my middle space. This is my bottom space. Small letters fit in the middle space. Tall letters go in the top space. Descending letters go in the bottom space.
Okay, so you kind of get the idea. We also have songs and we have this feature.
Sentences for me.
We're going to scoot this
A
forward.
ladder to make it tall. So watch me. It's my turn.
So you can see that it does model that for you as well. And I'm going to go back to my home page here. And I'm going to look over here on resources. So you saw it in the teacher's guide on the page where those resources are. But if you wanted to find it just because you were like, I want to review something with my students, you will see that we have them here as well. So if I wanted to review the letter M for a capital M, you're going to go there and you can see all of the pieces that you have to work with. We also have these wet dry pieces. So on this, that's interactive.
Let's try the letter M. First, watch me write the letter. M starts in the starting corner. Big line down, frog jump, big line down to the middle, up to the corner, and down to the corner. Now, wet the letter with a sponge.
So this is interactive where you're actually going to have to do this. I'm using my mouse for this.
Oops, keep your finger down.
So as you can see, I was not able to keep my finger down.
Very good.
Now I bring my mouse back up. Now this might be very difficult for students to do using a mouse.
Give it another shot.
So I'm going to close that because obviously I am not successful using my mouse to do that. But it is just another tool that you have that you can use with your students, okay? So this is our HIT app. It is located on your class link, and this has your resources for writing. And I'm going to take you into the curriculum and show you what it looks like in the actual curriculum. All right, so when the curriculum is open, you're going to see the day of the week, what mini lesson you're on, and down on lesson 4 and 5, this is where you're going to see your writing pieces for me. So you'll see it says handwriting. It's going to give you the TEK. It's going to give you the objective for the day. And then it will tell you in the teacher book for your HIT what pages that is located on. So you'll be able to find the information you need. Scrolling down, help me write my name. We're going to go to page 45 for that. So as we look through there, we're going to see where our handwriting is. Now, you're going to notice that that handwriting was only there and now it's gone because we're going to give you some more work in some other areas that's going to be covered in some of your other previews. So I just wanted to make sure you knew when we are looking, I apologize for scrolling on you, that you're going to find it in this box and it's going to tell you it's handwriting. The TEK is always the same. but the objective will change according to what you're covering. It will give you the name of the lesson and then your teacher's guide pages for you. Okay. So for your grammar for kindergarten, we know that there aren't as many pieces, and what we are trying to do for your students is really just give them a well-rounded understanding of these basic concepts. So we cover them and we keep reviewing them. We're going to spend a lot of time in interactive writing and shared reading and interactive in those pieces to help promote those skills so that students are able to show mastery of them during writing block over the course of the year. So you will notice that in the first 6 weeks, we're going to talk about nouns, and we're going to talk about capitalizing the first letter in a sentence and a name. So when we think about what we're covering in handwriting, we are covering capital letters. And so we're going to just focus in on pointing it out when we're reading a book, when we're doing shared reading with students. Look, the first letter of this word is capitalized because we capitalize that, or the name is capitalized. And then, of course, what is a name? It's a noun. And so we're going to be talking about that in a very organic way within our structure of our day. So grammar is not pulled out as a separate piece, but instead it is incorporated within writing and reading and just really noticing with the students and using it during interactive writing. So you will see a box in the curriculum. It's a note box, and it always tells you what you're kind of connecting. So your grammar connection. During reading, identify the first letter of a sentence and names. During writing, make the connection that you should capitalize the first word of each sentence. This will be modeled by you during class writing in all contents. Okay, so when you're looking at the curriculum, let's just make sure that we notice what it is that we're covering. So let me take you back and we'll look at that. So I'm back in the curriculum. This is for the first 6 weeks. This is week 1. And you will see here's that pink box down here. So even though it's a pink box and it's not direct instruction, there's always great information in here that we need to make sure we're looking at. So here is our connection of forming letters correctly that we would like you to make with them. And you'll see that we do have these pink boxes with different information in them. So please make sure you look at them as you are working through the curriculum. We want to make sure that the kids aren't missing that. So we give you teacher notes in that box. All right, we are going to now, all right. The other thing that you will notice is a change is we're going to spend most of the first 6 weeks on interactive writing. So interactive writing is the process used to teach students how to write. The process involves the sharing of a pen between the teacher and the student, and it can be done in a group setting. Now, with everything going on, you may want each child to have their own marker when they come to the front, okay? So instead of you sharing your pen, just have them bring their own. This will be done on chart paper or a whiteboard that's large enough for the whole class to see. And some of the benefits of doing this work is students are able to practice the daily phonics lessons. The teacher is able to model letter formation. Students increase their letter name and sound knowledge. And students are able to practice and expand their high frequency word vocabulary, okay? So what you're gonna find in the curriculum is interactive writing lessons. And they will be tied directly to the phonics work that you are doing in class. So we talked about your time for writing. And so you have about 30 to 45 minutes for this interactive writing time before we move into our units of study, okay? So each one of these lessons is going to be different based on the phonics that you have been working on with your students. So on this particular lesson, I'm giving you guys some examples. You do not have to use my example sentence. You can create your own. However, you will want to have some sort of sentence in mind before you start. So this lesson talks about the alphabet linking chart. Students will use the skills they have learned in PWS to identify features in an interactive writing session, okay? During the interactive writing today, you will work with students to look at parts of the writing to reinforce key concepts from your PWS work. Have an alphabet linking chart nearby. So then I have the model sentence. The dog and cat sat on the green grass by the tree. Model how you could figure out the beginning of the beginning and last letters in words. Point out letters that have similar shapes, curved letters, straight lines, etc. Circle those letters in the same color, and point to letters on the linking chart and say the name. Then find the same letter in the sentence. So as you're writing this sentence, you might say, I want to say the dog, the dog. And then you would look at the linking chart and you would model, how do I find that sound? What letter makes that sound? And modeling that. Then under the active engagement, you're going to have the students help you create a sentence. Now I have a sentence written. You don't have to use it. Again, you're trying to help them do that. So this time you're going to have the students help you find the beginning and last words, have the students point out the letters, and have the students have their own linking chart on the floor with them when they do this, or at their tables if they're not sitting on the floor, so that they can be practicing that as well. And then the last part is the practice. So this is also different. What we're going to ask this year while we're doing this type of writing is we're giving you time, since it is such a long amount of time. You're going to practice some, you're modeling, they're going to do active engagement, but then their practice time, you're pulling one of your Sing a Song of Poetry pieces, and you're going to have the students practice one piece of that on that poem. So this time we have Willoughby Wallaby Woo or Apples Peaches. Both of those are linked, so you have them right there, and you're going to have the students work to find letters from their name in the poem. So we're going to have the alphabet chart there, and then the kids are each going to, look at that poem and try to identify letters for their name. Okay? All right. If you have questions on that, please let me know, and make sure you're opening each one of those interactive writing sessions, because they will change each time based on your PSW. The other thing I want everyone to be aware of is in the first 6 weeks, you are going to spend almost your entire writing time when you do writing, doing interactive writing. So we're going to talk a little bit about units of study and what you're going to be doing in there, but I just want to make it clear that for the first 6 weeks, we want to give you more time to really work on phonics instruction and supporting students and making sure that they're prepared. And so the interactive writing will be most of your first 6 weeks. You will do your on-demand writing, and I have put on here a sample of what it looks like from the curriculum. So what I want you to understand is that the purpose of on-demand is to allow you to have a baseline for where the students are. All grade levels will do on-demands from kindergarten through 5th. So I don't want you to stress about the product. They may provide you with labels. They may provide you with drawings. They may just scribble on the paper. What I would like you to do is just label the samples with the type of writing it is, the name of the student, and the date. And then keep those samples in a folder for each student. So as you move through the year and you meet with parents, you can show them, this is where they started in the year, and this is where they're at. So those samples become just kind of like a portfolio showing progression of how students are doing in their writing. Okay, so don't stress about it. It probably will not take them the whole writing time. You're going to read a prompt to them. As a team, you can adjust the prompt if you don't love the wording of it. But basically, they'll write informational, opinion, and narrative. Now, in the upper grades, that makes a difference, but in kindergarten, it's not really going to make a difference, but you will get 3 samples. So on those 3 days that you're doing those on demands, just plan that you're going to have time to maybe read a book with them when they're done. Maybe you do some more interactive writing that's not in the curriculum. Maybe you do shared writing, just something else, because you're going to give them a piece of paper and you're going to ask them to do that work, and they're just going to scribble on it, write on it, draw on it, whatever they can do. You may have some kids coming in that can write, and they may be writing a little bit more, and that's great. But we just want those samples taken. And so those are 3 days in a row. So just kind of plan that you're going to have some time to do some other work with your kids. The next thing is your unit of study. Now, your unit of study is called Launching the Writing Workshop, and it will not start until the second 6 weeks. However, we want to make sure you have an opportunity to get some information on your unit before you start, and those are open sessions. This last year, the open sessions were in a Google Classroom for you, but I have transferred those to a Canvas course. So you can see the URL, or you can use the hebisd.instructor.com/register, and then there's a code. Either one of those will work. So you're going to self-register for your kindergarten course, and then all of your units for the year are in there so that you can go in when you're ready and you can view your open session. I recorded those for you so that you can sit down and kind of have someone help guide you. Now, because kindergarten has always a team of 3 or 4, however many teachers you have, you are welcome to do kind of your own open session with your instructional specialist, just your team, kind of sit down and go through those same steps. You don't have to do them through the Canvas course, but if you want to have that as just a support, you are welcome to do that. They are there for you as just a reference, a way to just, how do we do this? What do we need to be looking at? It's really about having a group discussion. And so in the open sessions on the Canvas course, it's just me talking to you. So I really want you to have that opportunity to have a group discussion. So I encourage you to work as a team. If your campus wants me to come out and during a planning period kind of go through that with you, I would be happy to do that as well. Just have your instructional specialist contact me and say, we really want you to come and do open session with our kindergarten team or whatever grade, okay? So I would be happy to come do that if that would work better. But just so that there is some way for you to have the support you need as you launch the writing workshop into the second 6 weeks. All right, the last piece for you guys is going to be your code word, and we want to make sure that you get your code word so that you get credit for your session. So your code word is flowers. So I use that as kind of the guide of colors for your presentation today. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions or need anything, please contact me. I'm here to support you. Thank you.